Mendota, Virginia is a small farming community at the base of Clinch Mountain. Around 1900, a rail line was built to connect Gate City, Hiltons, Mendota, and Bristol. This rail line went through some of the most beautiful land on earth as it traversed through Poor Valley to Mendota and headed south through a series of knobs and small mountains to take produce, lumber, and passengers to the main rail hub in Bristol. But as passenger service disappeared from the area and less produce was shipped by rail, the expensive rail line was discontinued. The rails pulled up, and the old rail bed was left to fall into disrepair. The small town of Mendota offered less and less business opportunities, and by the turn of the 21st century had few residents and few prospects for recovery. But for some, the prospect of developing the area for tourism was very real.
We have a small river outfitter here in Mendota, and when we have our kayak guests come out, the one thing that we hear repeatedly, they'll say, "I've been to the Creeper Trail, I've been to the Barter, this was so much fun kayaking, but what else is there to do?" And I always tell them, if you're patient, we've got something really cool for you to do here in just a few years. It's the Mendota Trail.
For almost 2 decades, the idea of turning the old rail bed into a rails to trails has been a dream of many of the local residents.
12 or 15 years ago, when the Mendota Trail first took life, I was approached to become involved basically by writing a check. And I thought it was an incredible addition to outdoor activities in this part of the world. And it's breathed new life with the Mountain Heritage, a 501c3 that's been able to acquire the ownership of the railroad bed and the future trail.
There's actually 12 miles of trail that connects Bristol and Mendota. But the rails were pulled up years ago, and the trail will need to be cleared of brush, and the wooden trestles will need to be repaired. It's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be cheap, but the benefits are many.
The Surgeon General had recommended 30 minutes of even gentle activity, like walking. As a healthcare professional, as a nurse practitioner, I have seen the effects of physical inactivity. We live in a community with no sidewalks. To get people out on their bikes or out to walk, even a short distance, if I was to prescribe physical activity, it actually would be a legitimate treatment to improve obesity and improve chronic conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease.
As important as that is, it's not just about health and exercise.
The economic impact of rail to trails is well documented. This is not the light under the bushel. It's for anybody that wants to Google what a trail does to property values, to adjacent businesses. No finer example exists than what happened to Damascus with the Creeper Trail. I don't think Mendota will ever be a Damascus, but by the same token, any store that opens in Mendota is one more store than they have now. People who come to the Mendota 12.5 miles from Bristol are going to be looking for soft drinks, for snacks, for other things to do. The economic impact of a trail like this is all there on the internet for anybody to look up. A 30% increase in property values adjacent to a rails to trails has been well documented.
The opportunity to use a rails to trails model allows folks both on bicycles and walking, running, to have a family affair. It's graded to a point where it's quite accommodating to any level of activity and level of ability.
It gives families, particularly the younger generation, a chance to explore the outdoors and enjoy nature. Particularly trails like this, that the barrier of entry is fairly low, so doesn't take a lot of skill or a whole lot of effort to be part of the outdoors and enjoy it.
The entire route from Mendota to Bristol is definitely the goal. But at this point in time, a 1-mile stretch of the trail is completed, starting at the Mendota end of the trail and extending to the trestle at the North Fork of the Holston River. Even though the first leg of the trail is in Mendota, efforts are underway to open sections closer to Bristol. Trestle repairs and the cleaning of brush will be a constant commitment until the final section connecting the entire trail is complete. The benefit to the people living in Bristol will be substantial. It won't take long for the hiker, runner, or biker to leave the hustle and bustle of the city and become immersed in the quiet solitude of Southwest Virginia. So come out to Mendota and enjoy this part of the trail. If you're interested in being involved in this exciting endeavor, go to www.mendotatrail.org.